welcome to everybody for this session. This is an old session because guidance is something that we talk about every single day, all the time. Take guidance, take guidance. So we take guidance all the time, at least, that's the path that I kind of walk through. And that's the path I share with everybody, that be in guidance, constantly speak to that inner voice of yours, constantly follow what that inner voice has to say. And yet today, the session is large part about how not to follow guidance. And this session comes about because as over the last couple of weeks, I've been moving around and I meet many people who are, also following the same path, and they come and share their experiences with me. And as they share their experiences and where they got stuck and how they got stuck or what they couldn't understand, I noticed that a lot of you were simply looking at outcomes outside and looking at how to receive those outcomes outside. And that was making your guidance. That is what you were looking to do, and that is what you were seeking guidance for. And the whole point of the guidance frequency is not to create things for you as you want them, but actually, the whole point of taking guidance is to let go of all the wishes, all the desires, and allow the universe to do whatever it wishes to do. To let go of your specified outcomes, but to be able to listen to the guidance frequency from a place of equanimity. But I found that was not happening. When we are in equanimity, when we are just simply flowing, we allow the entire universal intelligence. We raise our frequencies because now we are becoming an observer. But when we are tied to an outcome, we limit ourselves. We are limiting ourselves to the limited knowledge that we carry. And so how to give in more to the frequency of guidance, how to take guidance and how not to act on guidance. So that's the topic for the day. So here's the thing, the frequency of guidance, just like every other frequency, the frequency of guidance, the frequency of happiness, the frequency of love, everything is just a frequency. There are frequencies of the mind that we operate from. Those would be doubt, and those would be the conditional love. Those would be jealousy. Those would be so many frequencies that we see around us all the time. The frequency of guidance, frequency of surrender, unconditional love, all of these come from the frequencies of the heart. We know all of this. As I tell you, tune into guidance, tune into guidance. I have a simple process. Tune into my energies, and in those energies, all the answers are available. All the answers are available, and yet all the answers are not to be sought at all times, because the frequency of the answers doesn't need to necessarily solve each and every one of your questions. The beautiful part about this frequency of answers is that your questions get released. You simply are able to release all your questions and flow with whatever there is. We can only flow with whatever there is when we are not tied to an outcome. If we have results in mind, what is going to happen? We are so tied to the outcome. We are so tied to making this work. Till the time it doesn't happen, we sit in the frequency of lack. Every frequency has a noise. Every frequency has a noise. Every frequency has a voice. So sometimes when people take guidance in this process, simply be in my energies and sit and ask this question. The question I normally ask you to say or to receive answer for is a very open one. What is it that is important for me to know today? That's all. What is important for me to know today? In that, whatever is needed by you, for you, will already come as you sit to take the guidance. You are writing down this guidance. You are becoming one with my energy, the frequency of Meenal, which has the answers. And now you ask this question to the universe: what is important for me to know today? What is it that I wish to know today? And the answer will come from the frequency of guidance. Now, what if the answer comes, that person, don't meet with him, don't get into a business deal with him. He is not the right person for your business deal. See, you've been sitting in my frequency and you have just received these lines. What are you to do? Should you follow this guidance? What if you don't follow the guidance? Will something go wrong? Well, here is the first step that you need to look into. If the guidance itself is creating emotions in you, no matter what the guidance is, if you have it written down, it becomes easier for you to see. So I'm always with a pen and paper when it comes for me to take guidance. It doesn't take time, but I move with a pen and paper almost, everywhere. In my bag, there will always be pen and paper. And no matter where I am, I can simply, if I'm feeling confused about something, I can tune in and take guidance. As I do that, if the guidance comes, this is an important meeting, but this is a wrong person. This person cannot be trusted. If I put it down, I'm able to see very clearly that in this guidance itself, there is fear. Why is there fear? Because it is creating fear already in me as I look at, don't work with this person. If I work with this person, what will happen? Obviously, something bad will happen, something wrong will happen. And here is the beautiful part. In your entire life, there is nothing wrong, there is nothing bad. Everything is simply an experience of your frequency. If you are fearful of something going wrong, then it is your frequency of fear in which things go wrong. It is that frequency of fear that needs to be looked into and released. The release happens with a very simple line, which you keep bringing back to yourself. The universe is playing in my favor. I'm in the frequency of Meenal, and the universe is playing in my favor. Do I need to have the outcome that I want? And only then will I call that the universe is playing in my favor. Oh, well, here is how I look at things. When something happens, and let us say I'm pinning myself on an outcome. If that outcome happens, the universe is playing in my favor. If that outcome doesn't happen, it is showing me where all I need to work on. Because if the outcome doesn't happen, I'll go through a plethora of emotions. The emotions might be sadness, rejection, anger, resentment, frustration, disappointment, all of these, because what I wanted didn't happen. So as I look at all of these emotions, once things don't happen, that would be me working with it. Do I need to wait for that? Actually, no. As soon as the guidance comes, don't be with this person, don't do this, don't do that, I can actually ask a very simple question. And from that place, already all the emotions will simply come up right away. That simple question is, what if? What if this happens? What if I meet this person? What if I don't meet this person? And then already all the fears that I'm feeling, all the mistrust that I am feeling for the universe, for that person, will come to my awareness. My job actually is to release. It is a so-called guidance that has come saying, don't do this and don't do that. But if guidance itself is calling out to you for fear, for mistrust, then understand that that voice that just came is not from the frequency of guidance, though it's a very strong voice. But that voice just came is from your frequency of mistrust. It's a voice from your frequency of fear. How do you know what to do next? Well, simply sit down and process whatever emotions are created in you as you listen to this guidance. This guidance, I say, because right now you think it's guidance, but it's coming from the frequency of fear. But look at the beautiful thing that happens next. As soon as you've looked at the fear and you've looked at the mistrust, you, because you are aware, you know the process, you will be able to begin the release process. So you will look at your mistrust and you will release it. You will look at your fears and you will release them. As soon as you are able to release them, what if I meet, what if I don't meet? You will be in a state of equanimity. The outcomes won't matter. And how beautifully in that moment, that frequency of fear is no longer the frequency of fear, it becomes guidance. So, for every guidance that you receive, if first you do the work within, and I've always been telling that, right? That action can come later, but let the emotion with which you are doing the action, let that be the first point of your looking within. What is the emotion that I'm carrying as I receive this guidance itself? What is the emotion it is creating in me? And ask this, what if I do this? What if I don't do this? What if this happens? What if that doesn't happen? What if this person makes me, gives me a wrong deal, a bad deal? And what if he doesn't? Each of these, if he gives me a bad deal, it's my energy that created the outcome. So I know now which part of my energy I need to work on. There is no bad deal. When somebody thinks of a bad deal, they're talking about, I got cheated. But that's only because you are holding that frequency of mistrust that will bring these people to you, the ones who resonate at that frequency. So as soon as you've looked at your mistrust and released it, those others outside, because there is nobody outside, it is you and your reflections. So those outside reflections can stop creating those kind of events for you. That will happen automatically as you come more and more in the flow, more and more in equanimity. So no matter what guidance you receive, no matter how doubtful you are, whether this doubt, whether this guidance is correct or not, whether I should follow it or not, following it would be action. So as you sit and take down any guidance, first look at it, process any emotions that you might be feeling in this process of taking guidance itself. Sometimes, people come to me and say, oh, I was taking guidance for my son and I wasn't really sure if I can take guidance for my son. So I reached out to this other person who takes amazing guidances because I'm not sure, I'm sitting in doubt for all the guidance that I've received. So I decided to go to that outside person and then asked him to take guidance. And so now this is what his guidance says. And I simply laugh because here it is. As soon as I've understood that you didn't trust your own guidance, you were sitting in doubt about your own guidance. You didn't know right from wrong, so to speak. And what did you do? You reached out outside. That outside is only solidifying you more and more in your doubt frequency. It doesn't even matter what that other person received as guidance. That is, that could be 100% true, that could be only half true. But if you wanted to take, firstly, why did you want to take a guidance for your son? Whether he asked for it or he didn't ask for it. Let us say, even, he asked for it. He asked for you to take guidance for them. At that point in time, were you able to look at your own attachment to outcomes? At your own attachment to outcomes as related to the son before you ran out to this other person to take guidance for you? Were you able to work within? If not, then that's the first step. As somebody approaches you, can you take guidance for me? Or you get it in your head, you need to take guidance for somebody else. Firstly, look within to see, do you have attached outcomes or not? If you have attached outcomes, well, here is the story. Because Mani, when he was alive and he was my father, He already received guidance for so many people. As a matter of fact, almost everything that he spoke was guided. When he was sitting with somebody he needed to help, wanted to help, or that person had found his way through him, Mani would always receive guided words, and those would be 100% correct. And it is so beautiful that every time he tried to take or tell me, where he was attached to an outcome. Otherwise, he would say so many things to me. I would constantly listen to him. Whenever he said something to me, I would listen to him. And I had so much faith in him. Of course, I didn't have that kind of faith in me in those days, but I had so much faith in him. I would go to him and constantly, listen to whatever he said. Whenever there was an attachment to the outcome, those guidances never came true. They never came true. For the world, they were coming true. And now I can understand why in the physical form, when he was here, he was attached to his role as a father. The guidance wouldn't come true. They were all, they were all over the place. I didn't understand it then. I just simply moved forward. But still, in this whole scenario, I was only listening to him. And I tell people, and as a matter of fact, he tells me all the time that he had to leave so that I could start listening to myself. The journey for one is always within. I give guidance to so many people, but every single day, I am constantly looking within to see where all am I still judging myself? Where am I still with programs that don't serve me? Am I in equanimity with what's happening, or am I not in equanimity? The work is on me at all times. So similarly, as I tell you, you can take guidance for other people if they've asked for it. But even before you take guidance, release your attachment to outcomes. Otherwise, you know that with the attachment to outcomes, there are expectations, and the link is all about hurt. So expectations, attachments, hurt. When hurt happens, understand you've picked up any of these, either a link or an expectation, and is guaranteed to get you to hurt. That's the hurt frequency you will be experiencing, because what you received was from the frequency of guidance. No, it was from the frequency of expectation. It was from the frequency of some kinds of judgments, some desires, some wants. If you are taking a guidance for your son, I can totally understand that you will be tied into some outcomes. And so from there, if you are willing to receive guidance, then firstly work within on yourself. As you went out to this other person who receives great guidance, look what else you have to work on. You have to work on your frequency of doubt. You are thinking that the other one is a Shiva, the other one is money. But am I money? No, I'm not. And so, firstly, bringing yourself to this place of I am money, which will be done with releasing your doubts, releasing all these programs of mistrust on yourself. No, if I take guidance for my son, he won't even listen to me. Have you spoken to him yet? No. But this is your thought process. You are already creating this judgment. My son won't listen to me. You're already creating rejection. What will happen? Of course, it will manifest. So if you are coming from rejection, or if you are coming from acceptance, take a look where you are coming from. It's not about the outside. The work is still within. So the first step, as we talked about, no matter what your guidance looks like, firstly, look within to see, are there emotions being created with respect to the guidance itself? And that is the first step you need to clear. You need to clear your energies. Somebody else also came to me saying, guidance said this, and then I went ahead and did that. So again, I will share the process, or, the stepwise process that I follow mostly. Firstly, I don't ask questions except for this one. What is important for me to know today? The more minute you get in what is important for me to know about my job today, should I fire this person, not fire this person? Now again, you are looking at an outside scenario, that where is it manifesting from? It's manifesting from the energies that you hold. It will keep manifesting from the energies that you hold. So let's take our eyes off the outcome and simply put all our eyes, all our effort in releasing what we hold, what is not serving us. So as we put our, what should I do? Should I let him go? Should I not let him go? Firstly, coming to equanimity. If I let him go, so what? If I don't let him go, so what? And then as you come to equanimity with this, the frequency that was making you consider this question itself, the frequency will be released. In place of it will be another frequency which will belong to oneness. When our eyes are outside, these are the kind of decision-making points that we seek help on. When the eyes are inside, we only know, no matter what the decision-making outside, the work is within. The work is only to release whatever we are feeling. And so let me give you an example of, my real life situations and how I would deal with situations which require decision making. The situations, I keep working on my emotions and I keep releasing. If a guidance comes to me on its own, I'm not thinking about it, and yet a thought pops up. I think that, okay, that thought has popped up. I look at that thought. Does it hold? Does it hold fear? Okay, that's fear frequency. But does it hold something that will make me more limitless? Is it limiting me or is it unlimiting me? If it's limiting me, I understand the frequencies belong somewhere here. Frequency of anger, frequency of frustration, everybody, every frequency will create a thought. If this is a limiting thought, I shouldn't do this, I can't do that, I should do this, even I should do this is a limiting thought. Because if I don't do this, then something, etc., etc., is the outcome. And so from that outcome, fears are created. So this, you should do this, you shouldn't do this, both of them are actually limiting thoughts. So sit and clear the fears underneath them. But at times, I will simply receive a thought and I can look at it. So there was one thought that came to me many years ago. And that thought said to me, okay, you have this house that you've created, give away that house. You've created that house from all your lifetime savings. Now give away this house and give it to this person. Am I thinking those thoughts? No. Is this thought based in fear? No, it talks about giving away. It's definitely based in fearlessness. Otherwise, can you give away something which means, your lifetime savings to you? Can you give it away? No, you don't. You are clutched with fear. But this thought has come which says, give away all that you own. So definitely this thought is based out of fearlessness. It must be guidance, because your guidance will always take you from limited to unlimited. It will take you to work within, but as you do the work within, the guidance is meant to expand. It's meant to expand your energy, expand your horizon. It's meant to put the entire universal intelligence at play for you, at your service. When the guidance came to me, give away your life saving, did I just immediately jump onto that bandwagon? No. I firstly looked within, and I could see that while I don't have fears of giving away something, but I did have this judgment. I had this judgment, what will my husband say? Because after all, the house just didn't belong to me. It belonged more to him. It was more his money and less my money. And so I would need to ask permission. I'm asking for permission for what? I'm asking for permission. Look, you created this house out of your entire lifetime savings. I've received guidance. I need to give this away. Can I please do that? So immediately there was a lot of judgment as to what he will say. He will say, I've gone crazy. So as I receive these thoughts of what he will say, my thoughts are with me right now. It's not him saying it, but I've already created a scenario, and that's making me feel rejection, fear, and many other emotions of judgment. So what is my job first? To clear my emotions, all of them. So I sat and, I sat and candled. And again, I teach the candle process. Hopefully, all of you know it by now. If you don't, then you can go and watch the video on positivity process. And that's all there is. I looked at the emotions and I distanced myself from the emotions. The emotions of fear, what will Sudhanshu say? So I removed those fears with what? Okay, I am Shiva. I am Shiva. And so no matter what I do, what I say, I am still Shiva. I am awesome. And so as I look increasingly with my, with self-love towards myself, then these thoughts of what others are going to think about me will begin to dissipate. So I give more self-love to me and I come to this place, I am Shiva. Once I'm done with this, I come to this place of you are Shiva too, because that is where we are able to honor ourselves and honor the other as well. But the other doesn't know what's happening. They don't take guidance. Oh, well, that's my judgment. It's not for me to take judgment on what the other person does. It is for me to recognize that they might be unaware, but Shiva, nevertheless. I am what I think is aware, but I am Shiva, nevertheless. And so honoring both the Shivas and being in this equanimous place that, okay, so what if I follow the guidance? And what if I don't follow the guidance? What if I give away the house? And what if I don't give away the house? So all of these thoughts I pondered on for a day. And when I felt that I was, I was deeply, deeply sitting in the frequencies of self-love, that is when I went and put the question to my husband. Now you might think, oh, but he doesn't work on his energies. What will his answers be? The answers, the outcomes in the energy are not about everybody working on the energy. There is nobody else. There is only you and your reflections. They have their own journey. And no matter what their journey looks like, when you are in front of them with energies of the heart, they will be tuning into those frequencies. These are higher frequencies. They will tune into those higher frequencies. The outcomes will happen from those frequencies. So I went and asked him, I said, there is this guidance that I have, and which is about giving away this house to this person. And he said, oh, this is guidance. And I said, yeah, but you don't need to follow it. It's not your guidance. Whatever you say is okay with me. And I had already looked within. Oh, it's my guidance. How can he say no? No, no. Already worked on all outcomes, released attachment to outcomes, that this is my guidance. He must agree. No, that's an outcome. So release those outcomes to release all outcomes and sitting in complete equanimity. So what if this happens? So what if this doesn't happen? As related to money, I didn't have fears, but that I've understood about myself. I came with, a lot of freedom for money, knowing that in my frequency, I'm always taken care of. So a lot of my unaware life was spent like that, giving away a lot of money. And it's always come back to make me feel even more abundant. Has that much amount come back to me? Maybe, maybe not. But always, whatever I need has been provided to me by the universe. That is the frequency of abundance. And that is exactly what I share with all of you. So coming back to the guidance, I had already worked within, no specific outcomes, and I just simply posed the questions with zero attachments, with zero, with zero links, with zero outcomes. The next words out of my husband's mouth were, yeah, we should give it away. This was within 30 seconds or a minute maximum. I don't think it was a minute. It was the answer that he was speaking to me. My reflection was reflecting my frequencies of oneness. So he says that, and then we simply move forward with now that the question has the answer, and nobody, the person who's going to receive the house doesn't know about this guidance. This is only work that is happening within me right now. The action to tell them has not yet taken place. But that's why I say, even before anything is received by you, first take a look within at the emotions. So I received the answer, yes. Now I'm in equanimity. Whether I give the house or I don't give the house, it doesn't matter, right? Because I have brought myself to equanimity. But the one thing that I have understood in all of these years, fears limit you, fearlessness releases you. It makes you limitless. So if I was to simply now not follow the guidance, it would be okay. But I would have still created one tiny little bit of fear and an attachment to the house itself. And so when given a choice between fear and fearlessness, I choose fearlessness because I understand that's where all our journeys are headed to. So, in between this, what am I going to do? I didn't take guidance again. All I did was simply knowing that right now I have this choice. Physically, I can either give the house or not. Those are simply actions, they don't matter. But even in this, I knew that even if I have the slightest, tiniest of fears, it's going to come through and it's going to be released as I release my attachment to the house. And so, made a party out of it and called those people and presented to them with the house. What has happened since then? Since then, so many different ways I have been shown again and again the fearlessness of it and how it keeps creating more masti, more limitlessness. The latest in this being that every place, now that I'm not attached to a single house anymore, I don't live in this house. I live in this house, but it's a rented place. As I have released myself from attachment to every house has become mine. In the last 2 months, I was actually shown no matter where I go, I feel so comfortable because it is my house every place. I can go to the smallest house, I can go to the largest house, I can go to anything in between. Every place I belong to because I belong nowhere. And so, well, that has been, the giving away of the house happened a few years ago. But these revelations about how much freedom that attachment and letting go of that attachment has provided to me as I constantly worked on my energies within. This is the kind of freedom that comes to you. Every place on earth and possibly everywhere else belongs to me in this moment when I am not attached to a single place being my home. So anyway, so we were talking about how to follow guidance, and I was simply giving you the process that I take. So firstly, getting into equanimity, and then if a choice is presented, if there is fear that might be embedded in one choice and fearlessness that might be embedded in the other choice, I actually let go of the fear and choose the one that is the fearless choice. Let us say there are no fears, but only masti in both the places. Whether this happens, so what? Whether that happens, so what? Now I have released all my judgments. I have released all my expectations. And now I can see that I'm going to enjoy myself no matter what. I am in the frequency of masti, no matter what. At this point in time, I actually surrender to money. And I tell him, you make the choice. At this point in time, I'm not tied to an outcome. And so all that I do is I actually pick up a coin. And with the coin, the toss of the coin, as the coin goes up, I say, money, whatever you say is okay. Heads this, tails this, and I will leave it to you, whatever you wish for it to be a choice. As the coin comes down, it's very important that I keep looking within to see, am I hoping and praying for an outcome? If I am, that coin toss is pointless. It's pointless because I've still got attachments to outcome. And so leaving the coin toss to the side, simply coming into equanimity first, and only then going for the coin toss, only then surrendering. Why only then surrender? Well, this is something that I call aware surrender. The aware surrender is all about knowing that money and you are in oneness. No matter what he shows, no matter what the outcome is, either that outcome will be exactly as you wanted it and even better, or that outcome will show to you where all work remains within you. Either case, the universe is playing in your favor. Why? Because money's job is not to give you outcomes that you think are the right outcomes. Money's real job is to empty your energy pot and to show you all the places where the energy still remains, where your work of limitedness still remains. So that's his real job, and he will do it. But as you surrender, be in that masti, be in joy. Many people will look at surrender and they will say, yeah, okay, fine, I really wanted that, but money says, no, I can't have it. And so, okay, then I'm letting go of this outcome. In that outcome itself is so much of defeat. So much of defeat, so much of considering that you and money are not on the same sides. You and the universe are not on the same sides. You are playing in one little corner, and the entire universe and money and all your favorite other gods and goddesses all are playing against you. Otherwise, why wouldn't they manifest what you wanted? When you look at the energy, understand that it is your energy that is going to keep creating something or the other. So, with the surrender, with joy, knowing that no matter what the outcome is, the masti is going to be maintained. That is aware surrender. There is a part of it which is all about unaware surrender, even if without you considering any of these, look within, clear your energies and then surrender. Let us say if you surrender to everything that money says with joy, or everything that that your guidance says, you keep surrendering with joy. If there is no doubt in you, as you surrender to the universe, the surrender from the universe happens towards you. That's the way the vibration works. You surrender to the universe will surrender to you. That path, even in unawareness, will take you through. Why? Because that path is of complete faith. But if you don't have complete faith, I just explained to you the process that I have followed over the years. Over the years, when I didn't have complete faith, now it's a different story. But when I didn't have full faith in what was happening, and when I was constantly still sitting in doubt, I would do the aware surrender. Both of these are available to you, aware, unaware. In one, you simply jump into the action, but with full faith that no matter what the outcome is, the universe is playing in your favor. No matter what the outcome is, you will be in joy. If you are already sitting in that kind of space, fabulous, great. All of this aware surrender, you will be automatically brought to. And your path already is easy, that money holds your hand and you've given your hand to him in complete faith that you hold my hand no matter where you take me. I'm okay with all the outcomes. He will take you, and not necessarily all the places where he takes you to will be the ones that you expected, because understand that expectations are created every moment. So you keep looking within for expectations and keep releasing that no, whatever is happening, it's happening in perfection. And I hand it over to money. So there is one path which is complete faith, where even unaware surrender is completely beautiful. It will carry you through to masti. The end goal of all of this being masti, being equanimity, being able to flow and being able to be on our journey to joy, to freedom, to limitlessness. So that's where all of our journeys are headed to, even if you look outside at somebody who's not following their guidance. As you sit and watch them not follow the guidance, the question will still be, what are you feeling? If you are feeling frustrated and angry and all of that stuff, take guidance for yourself and not for them. The guidance is always about work within. If a guidance comes to you saying, this person has to do this for you, that person has to do this for you, understand that over here, the guidance is fully based on actions outside. This is some frequency of yours. It could be a frequency of desperation. It could be a frequency of rejection. It could be any other frequency. But this is a frequency that is putting your eyes outside. This is not guidance. at least not as of now. As you sit and release, what if they do this for you? And what if they don't? What if this happens? And what if it doesn't? As you put your finger within, now already you are converting that frequency of desperation or whatever it was, you are converting that to guidance. As you do that, new answers will come, new guidance will come. It will automatically come. Sometimes people cling to, okay, I got this guidance last month. Well, the guidance that you got last month, yesterday, last hour, if that scenario is constantly changing, be in guidance even more, because the frequencies are constantly changing. So keep taking guidance. It's for free. After all, what is guidance? It's your frequency of limitlessness. Yes, it is available outside, and the process is to, to simply tune into that frequency outside and make it your own. You tune into a frequency of Meenal, which is outside so far, but frequencies are so beautiful. You tune into the frequency just like that, and now it is yours. So as you keep tuning into the frequency of Meenal again and again, simply keep watching. If a new guidance arrives, then again the work is the same. Take a look within and see, are you still in equanimity? Only then, if you're in equanimity, toss and let go. Decision making is never full and final. That is so beautiful that, if even death is not full and final, then everything that we do on a daily basis, and we think, oh my God, if we don't do this, this is going to have dire consequences. Understand that that is only the fear of dire consequences in you. Those dire consequences hardly ever play out. And if they do play out, if they already manifest, then you understand that you had so much of fear of dire consequences that you can now release. Now that you are the aware person, you can now release. Another point that I pick up, blankness. So many of the people, when they begin to take guidances, they will come to me and say, we don't receive guidance. We go completely blank. We don't understand what this is. And so guidance doesn't come to us. The final form of guidance is blankness. The last step of guidance is blankness. So if you are experiencing blankness, understand that not only are you receiving guidance bhar bhar ke, pots full of guidance, that's what you are receiving, but you are also being made to experience what an empty space, an empty mind, an empty heart, completely without thought, without emotion. What does that look like? Because that is what is called the enlightened space. And so you are being made to experience that enlightened space. So enjoy it. Don't fill yourself with fear or with rejection. Oh, I don't receive guidance. Then even as you receive the most beautiful guidance of blankness, what is it that you are doing? You're actually rejecting it while filling yourself up with disappointments and lack. I don't receive guidance. So here it is. If you receive blankness, the work that you have to do is to stretch this blankness. If you can be in blankness for 2 hours, maybe 2 minutes, then stretch it to a little bit more. Stretch it to 10 minutes. There are days when I go for this blankness case and I'm able to be blank for days, sometimes 10 days, sometimes 15 days, and suddenly 1,000 thoughts will come. But then I understand, okay, if these thoughts are coming, let me catch where are these thoughts coming from. Mostly now, because I sit so empty, I can understand immediately what frequencies am I tuning into. So I tune into the frequency. I take those experiences. No running away. Oh God, I've done so much work. Why is it still happening? That I'm tuning into the frequency of anger. It's a frequency. It's in the air. Tune into it, receive it. No fear of feeling angry. There is no fear now that you might be angry because it's just a frequency. Otherwise, what do? Oh, no, I don't like being angry because anger always ruins things for me. It always ruins my relationships. It always does this, always does that. This program that you have of how anger ruins relationships for you, you can release it now. You can release that fear of ruining relationships. The relationships are not ruined from your anger. They're ruined from your fear of anger. Release the fear. As you release these fears, more and more guidance will keep coming. But even if the frequency of fear is in you, let it be. Let it be, experience it for half an hour, 1 hour, 2 hours. There's no need to rush it as well. It's just an experience. The more you rush it, the more you reject it, it will persist. So just simply be the observer. Okay, I'm feeling angry today. Let's see where all it plays out. And then simply being in that anger frequency, experiencing the anger frequency, and suddenly you will receive this alternate thought. Okay, now let's shift it. And then you can shift it. You can just simply be in this alternate thought, this thought that you received in guidance. Okay, now time to move. And so you can move it. That be the true guidance, because it talks about work with it. You're angry, no, now that person has to do this, that space has to be organized, that room has to be cleaned up, and then I will be less angry. No, the anger is within. The room could be cleaned up. You will find other places to be angry about because the anger is within. So even before looking for guidance, or even as you look at guidance, simply working within that prime formula. Okay, let's see what we got now as some questions. This means one to ask, what is important for me to know today? That is the only question I ask. And that's the only question I tell people to ask. People keep asking all kinds of questions. Should I go here today? Should I not go there today? And they're totally vested in outcomes. They're hoping that the guidance will validate them. If it validates them, great. If it doesn't validate them, then they ask 3 or 4 times. So that's not the point. The point is constantly to look within and see, okay, if I am to go there, what if I'm not to go there? What is the outcome that I'm scared of? What are the emotions I'm receiving? And then to clear. So then, yes, and the two, to check your emotions in any situations and work on, and not to take guidance for particular situation. Is my understanding correct? Yes. Guidance for particular situation will automatically start flowing as you clear your energies. Your energy is right now stuck in fear. You're taking guidance in fear itself. Who knows what frequency the guidance is coming from, whether it is guidance or not. It is the voice of your fear or it is the voice of your anxiety. Who knows? How to work on that? As you work within, automatically, that voice of anxiety will get converted to voice of joy, to voice of peace, to voice of Anand. So being, even if you receive something as guidance and you're not sure, I'm telling you that all that you have to do is to see what emotions even this guidance is creating. And then once you are done with looking at the emotions, then the second step, is there a choice being made available to you? If so, the choices itself is one more towards fear and one more towards fearlessness. If you so wish, you can release your fears, your ultimate fears, whatever those are, and then this time choose fearlessness. Once you're sitting in complete equanimity, you might even call to money or somebody say, okay, now that you've completely worked on yourself, now that you have zero intentions for this outcome or that outcome, then surrender, because surrender will bring you more joy. Money will decide for you which place to go to, what action to take when you are coming from this place of aware surrender. Wow. Okay. You only are free when you realize you belong no place. You belong every place, no place at all. The price is high. The reward is great. Maya Angelou. The price is high. No, it's not. Okay. But that's simply, a judgment that Maya had and a judgment that I don't have. That's okay. Each of us on our own journeys, the price is so low. The price is only, there's only rewards and rewards. From that one act of, giving away something to another Shiva, taking from one Shiva and giving to another Shiva. I had nothing to do in the middle, but only empty my energy pot. That was the only price that I paid, that I had to constantly look within and empty my energies. If I was feeling judgment, I had to empty myself of that judgment. That was the only price. And if that's the price, we all agree that it is such a beautiful price to pay, because it's win, win, win all along the way. So beautiful. Okay, so I have covered, let me just see, I actually wrote down a few pointers because the morning session happened and I wanted to cover all of those. Yep, all covered. And so brings me to this, again, simply harping in on this point that there's nothing called the wrong guidance. Whatever you think is, maybe, is this the right guidance or is this the wrong guidance? Should I follow this? Should I not follow this? Again, the work is only, the guidance is only simply showing you the doubts, the mistrust, the fears, the anxieties that you carry. Begin releasing those. If you are able to bring yourself to equanimity, that's it. And from that place onwards, no matter what path you take, what energy do you carry with you? You carry the energy of equanimity. As you carry the energy of equanimity, every path, whether I go here this side or I go that side, I'm carrying my energies with me. Everything will simply keep creating miracles, will keep creating joy for me. So because this frequency of abundance is exactly the frequency in which more and more miracles are created. I have one more story to share that's being brought to my mind, and this is how it is every moment to moment. We think we've done our work on it, and so now enlightened space is for us forever. No, it's not. The energy doesn't work in time. There is nothing called forever. There's nothing called always. There's nothing called never. So every minute, you keep observing yourself. Somebody said to me, oh, you gave me an answer, or you told me to look within, and I worked so much on my energies and I observed myself, and now I don't know what I should do. I said, well, I've been observing myself for the last 9 years now. I still keep doing that on a daily basis, and that's the only thing that is left for me to do. And so, when we are focused outside, we'll constantly, okay, this is not working for me, this is not giving me the desired outcome, maybe I need to change my strategy. And here it is, the manifested, whatever has manifested doesn't happen from changed strategies. At all times, it happens from your energy. So the only thing that you put your eye on, and that is why when people say, how can I manifest this for myself? How can I manifest this, that for myself? And I tell them, take your eyes off the manifestation. Take your eyes off the manifestation, because that right there is an outcome. Until the time you receive that outcome, you will be sitting in lack. You simply keep looking at all your frequencies, you keep clearing them, you take guidance. What is needed for me to know today? Not about how can I get that house? How can I get that promotion? Those guidances will lead you, mind you, they lead you all over the place and bring you to this place of equanimity. And so bring yourself to equanimity today and you are all set. The experiences that will happen, you are not lost. Nobody is ever lost. Even the person who is the most unaware in your eyes, they are not lost. They are simply on their journey to find themselves. And so if you found yourself today, it doesn't warranty at all that you will find yourself tomorrow. The point is to constantly keep looking within and keep asking from your own energy of guidance. This is your own energy. This is you. Use it. This is your higher frequency, which knows how to make you more limitless. Yes, there is help available. Frequency of Meenal is to help you. The frequency of money is to help you. Use that help. But who are you finding? You are finding your own God within. That's where the guidance is taking you to your limitless self. As you empty your pots, yes, things outside will work out. Things outside will shift. Things outside will change. Things outside will give you more joy. As they give you more joy, keep a keen eye on yourself. We very quickly attach ourselves to joy because those are the roses that we have received. We prick out our thorns with great care and we let them go. But the roses that we receive as a part of this process, now we suddenly cling to them. So keep an eye. The minute you cling, attachment, expectation, hurt it is. So if you are experiencing hurt from anybody at any point in time, simply understand, oh, hurt, okay. I must have created attachments. They've just come to show me I have to work on my attachments, and you will be hurt no more. You can simply keep taking guidance. But even if you don't, the point being, first bring yourself to equanimity with the question, what if this happens? What if this doesn't? Sometimes if guidances give you exact dates, on this date, this will happen. Wonderful. Feel the joy in your heart for that guidance, but also understand, take a look within. Are there any emotions that you're attaching yourself to? What if this doesn't happen? Oh, no, 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 no. I really need it to happen on this day. If that is your understanding, or if that is the energy that you are put, that you are vested in, then understand that this energy is of lack. When those things don't happen on the day that you've been told, then they are going to bring you lack. They're going to bring you disappointment. So empty yourself today itself by this question, what if this happens? What if this doesn't happen? As you empty yourself, if it happens, it'll bring you to more masti. If it doesn't happen, you will not even remember. You are already in masti. You are already in equanimity. So constantly, the role of the guidance is not to manifest outside things as per your liking. The role of the guidance is to constantly put a finger on your energy pot so that you can clear it more and more and stay in this beautiful equanimity, in this abundance, in this masti more and more. Any questions for me? Okay, did a really good job explaining that, huh? Okay, people. All right. So today, no meditation. This was too much of a, a teaching session. So hopefully now you will know when you sit for guidance, when you don't sit for guidance, either ways, if you're just simply being able to look at your emotions and clear your energy pot, the guidances that will suddenly one day drop in, and you will be able to look at those, clear your emotions, and they will take you to even more masti. They will just simply keep taking you to more and more masti. Okay, people. All right. Lots and lots of love to everyone. Thank you. Thank you for being here. And hopefully I've answered all your questions on guidance and how not to follow guidance and how to follow guidance. Okay, everybody. Lots and lots of love. Bye, everyone.